Today's episode of the Tenn and 2 podcast is brought to you by Topper Jewelers and the new limited edition Oris Diver 65 Maxi. A watch that is designed by watch enthusiasts for the enjoyment of watch enthusiasts. The Topper Diver 65 Maxi is ready for any adventure you can imagine. Limited to only 165 pieces, the new Maxi Diver 65 brings a purposely bold, vintage reissue aesthetic to an already iconic timepiece. This collaboration is sold exclusively through our friends at Topper Jewelers. Visit topperjewelers.com for more information and to pre-order your Oris Diver 65 Maxi now.
Hey everyone, welcome to the 10 and 2 podcast. I'm Kat.
I'm Catlin.
And we're here every week talking watches, photography, adventure, and exploring the world of horology.
What's going on, Kat?
Sorry.
Had to fix that mic.
It's always, I don't know.
Man.
We're getting used to our new mic stands.
I know. They're like maybe too fancy for us.
I think so.
We
just don't know how to work them.
We're not this fancy, so we're struggling.
Yeah.
But what's going on?
What is going on? So many things, so many life things.
All the life things.
I know. I feel like we were in a deep conversation like 2 seconds ago.
I know.
I'm trying to get myself
trying to like be all light and peppy and
it's fine.
It's okay.
You know, life's a struggle sometimes, and we just have to push through.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Yeah. I mean, holidays like at work have started, so
craziness.
It's a little crazy. And then just trying to balance. I feel like the struggle this year is going to be balancing the podcast and work on a whole other level because we weren't where we are now last holiday season. So it was fine.
We were hustling though.
We were.
We had a lot of events going on.
Oh, we did.
So at least we don't have that.
Yeah, thankfully.
One less thing.
One less thing. But I'm trying to get into the Christmas spirit. I've just bought all new decorations for my Christmas tree, and I'm probably putting that up later on this week. Just 'cause I'm afraid if I don't do it now, it's just gonna be like December 20th before I get it up.
So many people have theirs up. I think next week when Thanksgiving hits, I will spend because we'll have some off time.
Yeah,
and I feel like I'll do that.
I'm excited to get mine up.
I feel like everything in my house looks so much better with Christmas decorations, and then I take it down. I'm like,
it's so empty.
I don't love my house.
Stop.
It's bland and
just
cold.
No, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But I think one of my favorite things is coming home after a long day at work and just sitting on my couch and just having the Christmas tree plugged in. And
it's so calming. It's like a fire.
Yes. I mean, maybe we should just keep Christmas trees up all year long.
Can we put one in the podcast room? A little one? We could put a little one. Yeah.
We're going to Hobby Lobby immediately after this episode, and we are totally getting a Christmas tree here. I'm so excited.
All year stays up.
Well, you know, like a lot of southern ladies that I know keep like a tree and then they decorate it for all of the holidays. Like I know so many women who do that. I don't want to be that woman. I'm not that motivated, y'all. But
it's like the people that change their flag to like all the like
and the garden. Yeah, no, like my 4th of July flag would still be up. Like
the American flag.
I guess that's true. I would still have my Easter flag up like in December.
Oh man, I'm dying.
But I'm overall I'm doing okay. I did a thing, Kat.
What?
I did a thing.
Oh, I know what thing you're talking about.
And I have some.
How do you feel?
I'm okay.
Your voice like went really high.
I sold a watch.
You did sell a watch.
For the first time in my entire life.
So let's talk about the experience.
Okay.
How did you sell it? Because I'm sure a lot of people want to know.
On accident.
Okay, so it was an accident.
I didn't mean to. So, for those of you who maybe didn't listen to that, if you didn't listen to last week's episode with Adrian from Bark and Jack, you really need to. It was such a fun chat and really great topics that brought up. But I've come to this conclusion that I want to sell off some watches that I just don't wear. There's nothing wrong with them. I genuinely love them, but I think because I love them, I feel very guilty that they're just sitting in a watch box unworn, and I want to buy one watch instead.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what that watch is because I feel like it's discontinued and people are going to start accidentally driving the prices up looking for them. So,
that's true.
Yeah, I'm
but
pretty
you
sure I said it.
sold it at a good price.
Yeah, so I sold my Stova, my worn-and-wound Stova that I agonized for months over buying on this podcast. So I sold it. I'm happy with the experience. I had posted a story, or actually this was from somebody who had reached out to the podcast weeks ago and was just like really randomly, hey, if you ever think about selling this watch, like let me know. And I want my watches to go to people who would really enjoy them because I have this like emotional connection to them. So that's what I did. I reached back out to this guy before I even posted it anywhere and just offered it to him. And it was I realized.
Did he reach out? Did he already know you were thinking about it?
No.
Oh, he just randomly reached out and wanted to buy it.
Randomly reached out.
There you go. And, it's made to be.
Yeah. And I was just like, you know what? Because he had mentioned that he had wanted Roll when it first came out, missed out on it. And I was like,
Which is crazy because remember how many they had?
They had only made 100. Yeah. And it seemed like they lasted forever. But, I'm glad that it went to somebody who really wanted it and really, will appreciate it. So it's in my car right now. It's going to
we both
UPS.
Sold watches today.
Oof. High five. All right. Making money.
But that wasn't loud enough. We have to
Oh, sorry. Did you guys hear it? We high-fived in case you didn't hear.
I'm trying to bring the volume.
It's the weakest high five ever.
We have a big table.
We have a huge table, and then we've got drinks that are open, and we're trying not to spill them all over all of our stuff.
Which has happened.
Maybe once or twice. But it was an easy experience. And I realized the reality is most experiences aren't like this. I was just, it was somebody on Instagram and I was just like, look, I just want this to be easy. I don't want, because I'm very apprehensive about doing it anyway. And I don't like to deal with
especially
stuff.
when you don't know the person.
Yeah. So I just had the guy PayPal or Venmo me. I was like, just let's be easy. It's not an overly expensive watch. So, I'm not super stressed out about it. But yeah, I feel good mostly about it. It's fine. It'll be fine.
It's fine. You tell yourself it's fine.
It's fine.
Well, I think you did well. And again, the person was someone that really wanted the watch to begin with. So you knew they weren't just kind of scamming you because you had the watch for sale. They initially wanted it without even, selling it or putting it up for sale. But I think for other people, and I get asked this a lot, where do you sell your watches? I tend to sell in the forums because I like looking back and seeing the history of the buyer. Yeah. You did really well because you took a Venmo or a PayPal friends and family, which if anything happens, screw it, you've got your money, right?
Yeah,
he can't come back and say, hey, the watch had scratches or it was damaged, blah, blah, blah. He can't file a claim. You've got your money. That is basically a done deal. Same as a bank wire. But I just don't trust people that want to do a wire that's not a bank wire. What do you call it? Money, Western
where
Union. It takes days and I don't want to deal with that. So I'm the same way. I'm just I
just want it to be easy. Yeah. Now that being said, I think that you, as a buyer, if you're buying a watch, you should protect yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like I would play both sides. If
you
I
have
go to
to
buy something, I would definitely want it to be this way. But also, I just want it to be easy. I'm so laid back, y'all.
Yeah.
I don't want to haggle. There's my price. It's very good. It's very competitive. I don't want to haggle. I just don't enjoy the games behind it. So I want the easy transaction. And I texted him and I was like, thank you for making this super easy because I just didn't want to. I mean, I've been talking about selling watches probably since February of this year or January, probably since we did our state of the collection at the very end last year.
You were I have a lot of watches.
All these watches and I was like, dang it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. So that's the first one gone. I have a couple more to sell and I'm being good. You keep offering, you're like, hey, let me know when you're ready. I'll start putting the word out and I'll start hunting this watch down for you because I'm not in the forums. And you're and I'm like, no. I'm waiting until these watches are sold and then I'm doing it because
you're doing a really good job.
I know me. I know I'll be like, oh yeah, go ahead and do it.
And
then I'll buy it and I haven't sold things. And then I'll just be like, oh, well, I've already spent the money. So
just sit around.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're doing good. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Good job.
I'm trying.
It's a stressful thing. And a lot of people, they're scared to even do it. And that's why they have so many watches. I hear all the time, I want to sell my watches, but I don't know where to start. And it is a daunting thing. And I've been doing it for a while, sadly. So I have some experience in it, but I don't love I don't love listing things. I don't love buying things. There's always a stressful moment there. I will say I've been burned more times on the seller side of things, me as a seller, than I ever have as a buyer, which is a good thing, but you just have to always be really, really careful too. But yeah, so let's get into a quick wristwatch check.
Yay.
And then we're going to get into a Q&A for today, which is the November Q&A.
It is our November Q&A.
Yeah. So what are you wearing today?
I have on the wrist the Oris Aquis.
I think it's Aquis.
I'm just going to still say Aquis because I can never remember.
It's Aquis. Like, it's got to be Aquis. Tomato.
I have the Oris Aquis. We're Southern, y'all, so we get away with it. The Oris Aquis on the leather strap. So.
Well, we've had the CEO from Oris USA on our show several times, and he's never said anything. So I think But what does he say? Now I can't remember, of course. I've never heard anyone but Adrian say Aquis. I think it's just an English accent
Adrian
thing.
Wrong?
Well, I think it's just an English thing, like Omega, instead of Omega.
Ugh.
I know.
Omega gets on my nerves. It
but
like
it's just,
really crawls under my skin
That's
now.
the way they say it. That's their pronunciation.
You're wrong.
No.
Just kidding, y'all.
Dang,
Just
Catlin's
kidding.
coming after you.
Just kidding. I'm not coming after anybody. Peace, love, unicorn, sparkles. That's where I'm at in my life.
All the funny emojis.
All of them.
All the cute emojis.
But what about you, Kat? What's on your wrist?
I've got the Omega Seamaster 300M.
Yeah.
White dial, polar dial, great white, whatever you want to call it.
It's not the great white.
It's not the great white. Don't call it the great white.
Yeah,
it really
because
isn't.
The great white refers to, there was a white dial 300 meter that was done a very long time ago.
The GMT.
And that was the great white. So it does this one's not the great white. Like, it's a totally different watch.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think you have to nickname every watch. I do really like this one. I was kind of talking about selling it. I did the trick. I put it in a safe. I didn't wear it for a month and to see what I felt. Honestly, didn't really miss it, but then I got it out this week and wore it, and I was like, oh, I really like this watch. It's not going anywhere. I'm going to keep it. And I know I've been talking about a sub. I think a sub may come next year, but I'm good for now.
Yeah.
I just sold a watch. Actually,
Are we talking about what watch you sold or no?
Yeah, I sold my Harrods, which a lot of people I'm sure are going to be shocked about, but I have other hobbies. I have other aspirations and things I want to do. And COVID has helped me realize how important other things are besides watches. And, sometimes things have to go. And I'm not really sad about it.
I kind of love this. Because our conversations have been, and Kat's in my private messages, it's been, I'm going to sell the Harrods, I'm going to sell the 300, and then I'm going to get the sub. Mm-hmm. And in the last couple of days, it's, you know what, I want to pursue photography more. Mm-hmm. I want to really kind of grow this. This is what's important. I have enough watches.
I do have enough. I still have an incredible collection that I'm very happy with.
For sure. I mean,
and a birthday watch that I'm not even wearing yet.
Exactly.
So I can't complain.
And I love this. I love that you've got rid of a watch so that you can do something totally different that's non-watch related. Yeah. And I think that's really cool. So
I love the Harrods a lot. It's a stunning watch. When it came down to it, I really wasn't wearing it. And after getting the Seamaster and trying on the sub, it's like, oof, this watch is big, it's thick, it doesn't wear as comfortable. I don't think it was uncomfortable, it just wasn't as comfortable. And it's gone. It's gone.
Well,
it's what I do.
So I feel like this is actually a really great point to get into our very first question from one of our listeners. So this is from @I.Courtman, and it says short-term, medium-term, long-term collecting goals for each of you. And I think that we should just kind of narrow this down probably to collecting goals in general. Yeah. I think that, I think that it's pretty much the same as far as short-term, long-term. Yeah. So what are your collecting goals?
Collecting goals is to just focus more on what's something that I know is going to absolutely kind of just stay in my collection for a very long time, but not beat myself up over it if it doesn't. Mm-hmm. And we have connections to these watches, and I have several in my watch box that I just they're not the most expensive pieces, but they're also pieces I would never get rid of. So it doesn't even come down to price. And so I think I like having a smaller collection because that means that every piece gets worn. And I like that. And I just have to remind myself not to not to go overboard when new and shiny watches come out that I really like. 'Cause it's very
easy
hard.
to do, and we all do it though.
Yeah.
So
What about you?
I think kind of similar. I've gotten to where I have all these watches that don't get worn. I don't want. Here's the thing. I don't want to wear a watch because I feel like I have to wear this watch. I don't want to wear a watch because I feel guilty not wearing it. I want to walk to my watch box and think, hell yeah, let me put this on my wrist today.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at with several pieces of my collection. And I love these watches. Don't get me. And, if you're new to the podcast or if you've been listening to a long time, I get very emotional about my watches. Like my watches are just like, it's not just something I buy and I don't think about. Like I do put a lot of thought into them. But I don't want to wear them because of guilt. I want to wear something because I want to wear it. And I just have too many watches to do that with.
Yeah.
So I think just really narrowing down what I really want and quit getting distracted by little things. And there's another question that we'll probably get to later on, about, multiple cheaper watches, not cheaper, but less expensive watches versus one more expensive watch. And that's a reality. I don't want to
Let's just answer it. Like, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of getting to one more expensive watch. That's what I'm doing. I'm selling some cheaper watch. I hate the word cheaper because it really is. It has nothing to do with the brands. And I love these brands. And the thing is I feel very guilty about some of these watches I'm selling, not just because I love the watch, but because I love the people. Like I know these guys personally. And I'm just like, I hope you don't take it as like an offense thing, but I don't also have $2,500, $3,000 sitting around that I want to spend on another watch and still have these watches unworn. So that's kind of the reality of where I'm at right now.
You let your hobby pay for your hobby. I mean, that's just kind of, and that's what I've done for years is I don't really, I try not to put a lot of our savings or anything into my collection. I just buy and sell within my own collection so that I don't have to pull from our savings account for other things that we want to do, like trips and things like that, because I feel like it's important to have that. And I'm realizing that more. I'm the same way. I think I'd rather have less.
Yeah.
I'd rather have one watch if I could pick one watch, I would rather have that than a bunch of more affordable pieces just to have. It doesn't make any sense to me. Not in my lifestyle. For others, yeah, but not for me.
Yeah.
So.
I definitely agree with that. I think at the end of the day, you just have to do what works best for you. But
there's
you
no
have to
right
know
or
yourself.
wrong.
There isn't. Worst case scenario, you have a couple of lesser expensive watches, and then you do what I'm doing and getting rid of those But for a lot of people, that's your way of getting into a little bit of a higher end watch, and that's okay. Do what makes you happy right now, but think about your long term goal. Think about for me, I want this Grand Seiko, so. Yeah. How can I get there? What can I do to get there? I don't want to, as far as saving, I'm saving for other things right now. Like I have other things.
Well, it would be different if you had a collection right now that was small and you wanted to keep every piece, but you don't. You have pieces that you can get rid of, so why not?
Yeah.
Like, why not try to sell them?
It's a great excuse to finally get it. Because like I said, I've been saying this since last December probably.
Yeah, pretty much.
That I need to get rid of pieces. So it's a good excuse to get rid of stuff. Also, I've realized I'm going to need a smaller watch box because last Christmas I asked my parents for this. I love my watch box. It's not even an expensive box, but it's like a 21 piece box, and now I'm thinking of like all the empty spaces, and empty spaces like I'm OCD, so like it kind of bothers me. So I don't need to fill those empty spaces though. That's the important thing.
New Christmas list.
Yeah, there you go. New watch box.
Yep.
Actually, I just want the same watch box with smaller.
Just smaller.
So I really
it
like
is a really cool one.
I love it. All right. So what's next?
All right. So next, we'll just go down the list here and we'll answer as many as we can. Is from Michael Steele Picks. How often do you change watches throughout the day and why? He says, for me, at least twice a day.
No, I don't. I mean,
because you're at work for a good part of your day.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if I were going out after work and like there were a watch that matched what I was wearing better, I might bring another watch with me. Or if I'm going to like an event with like a certain brand or something like that, I might bring like that particular watch. But other than that, I really don't. Now, sometimes in the mornings, like actually before I got the G-Shock, before I got the Apple Watch, sometimes I'd wear like a G-Shock when I went to the gym or went for a run. So that would count. I guess that's changing a watch strap.
Yeah.
But I've heard people who change their watches like when they come home. And I think it's a cool idea because it kind of gets you more wear out of your watches. Like you kind of use them more. Also, when I come home, I just want to first thing I do is I like walk into my bedroom. I put my stuff down. I'm like, give me some sweatpants, a hoodie, taking off my jewelry, including my watch, and just like
I do the same thing.
Yeah, take off the makeup, throw the hair in a ponytail, and then let's just like kick it.
Well, at that point, in that night, when I get to the point where I'm changing and I'm putting on my PJs and all that stuff, like I don't need to know the time anymore. I mean, I do because I'll look at it as we go to bed, but I'm not worried about it anymore. And I feel like it's kind of it's a tool. It's a work thing. I have a watch on so I can know what time it is, so I can time myself on certain things. Things have changed a little bit since COVID.
And I work from home. So I'm interested to hear if you change your watch out.
I do when we have pieces in for review. I will. But if I don't have something in that I feel like I need to wear, I'll wear, the same watch all day. Again, it changes if we have, which we have a lot in. We're so excited.
If you guys knew like how many boxes we just picked up from our postal service.
We have so many watches. We're so excited to get hands on with these, and then we'll do an episode talking about them. We've got a couple reviews coming up. But again, if not, then I wear the same watch all day. I like keeping the same watch.
Yeah.
It's like a bonding thing too for me. I don't want to change it.
Makes sense.
But yeah, if I was changing... I'm like you. If I was changing to like go out, I probably would, but like just hanging out at the house.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times my watch is more based off of what I'm wearing. So like if I were going out and I just wanted to wear a different piece, then I would change like that. But yeah, that's about it.
Cool. What's next on the list?
All right. So from @C.Johnson. What's been the biggest negative working in the watch hobby business?
Ooh, the biggest negative?
I feel like we have the same answer.
Yeah. It's basically...
It's also the biggest positive, I think.
The people is the positive. The people is also the negative.
Yeah.
And it's not people. When we say people, it's not brands. It's not other watch media. It's the community. I feel like the community is so negative at times. And you see negative responses and trolling and things like that, and it just becomes old. And I think that's what annoys me the most. We put in a lot of work sometimes on the things we do, and then it just takes someone making a comment saying, you guys are just being paid to say this, and we're not. And it hurts sometimes. I think that's the biggest negative.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I realize it's not limited to just watches. I realize that every hobby has their trolls and whatever. It irks me to see it. It takes joy, and not even on our stuff, but when I see it on other people's stuff, I'm just like, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong with your day that you feel like you have to be negative towards other people? Now, given like one of the things I love about Kat is Kat and I are very similar in the fact that like we're just positive people. We don't, when we talk, we're not bitchy about things. We're not negative about things. We're not, just gossipy or anything like that. To me,
it's always been, it's a waste of air to be negative about something. It doesn't make you feel any better. It doesn't make the other person feel any better. So why even do it? It's just the way I am.
Yeah, no, same. I mean, I think that, I don't like that kind of energy. So I don't like seeing that energy. I don't like reading that energy. So that's definitely, it's the biggest negative in the hobby, but it's also, people are the biggest, more so than the watches, like the relationships that we have with people, the relationships we have with brands, the relationship we have with each other is literally because of this hobby. So, both ways.
All right. So from Doing Time Scotland, he asked, do you believe in an exit watch?
No.
Yeah. Like a one watch to end it all, to leave the hobby with.
But people do believe that.
But and to me, it's like a car. Would you buy an exit car? You're never going to get a new car in the rest of your life. Like,
I feel like no matter what, even if I got my Grail watch, right? If I got my unachievable, I hit the lottery Grail watch, there's still going to be more stuff that like I just kind of want. And even if a watch ticks all the marks, it's still going to be something that I'm going to see more things. It's the same with everything, like shoes or, I freaking love the sweater that I'm wearing right now. worn it quite a bit lately, if I'm being a little honest. But that doesn't mean when I go to the store, I don't see a new sweater and I'm like,
Mhm.
ooh, all right. Like, let me
Yeah.
get that. You know, it just,
Why limit yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's always something else. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's just kind of it's our culture. It's just kind of the way we are. But yeah, I
think it's a fun fantasy to think about. To think about that one watch that will end it all, and you'll be out of this hobby. You'll be out of the want. I've thought about it, if I could just have one watch and just be done. But this is fun, as much as we complain sometimes about the buying and selling and trading, and it is fun. It's all fun and games. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying this, journey that I'm on with my watches, and it's a lot better than buying a car. I mean, God, that sucks. I hate doing that. Buying a watch is fun. I love like digging into research on a piece that I want, and I do the same thing with the cameras and the lenses and all that stuff. Anything I'm going to buy, it could be a freaking bag, and I'll just watch every single video there is on it and just dive into the world, and it's just what I do, and it's a fun process. So I would never want to stop that.
Yeah, I agree. So from at time_2_lume, not underscore. All right, sorry. Would he see the next big step for watches and watchmaking being interpret however you choose?
That's a really good question. God, I might have to think on this one for a few seconds.
It's a good thing we have a podcast and we can just skip all the awkward silence.
I'm just trying to think of technology that I feel like is going to really take off. I think people are really, very obsessed right now with power reserve and having a watch and that technology has been around for a while. I don't know what else would be the next big step for watches. I think there's so much out there.
What do you think, about more smartwatches, more luxury brands diving into the whole smartwatch game?
Yeah, I mean, that could be a next step where they're trying to compete more, and
not related to anything on our Q&A.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, by the way?
What?
We've never talked. I don't think we've ever talked about
the luxury
brands doing smartwatches.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
There's a market for everything.
Yeah.
It's not something I would buy, but it's also not something I'd hate. Like if I saw someone wearing it, I wouldn't spend my money on that because the technology eventually is going to die.
Yeah.
And so why spend that much money on something that's not going to be around forever? I don't like that. When I buy an iPhone, when I buy an Apple Watch, these things, you go into it knowing it's going to be around for several years and it's going to be gone.
That's it. Yeah.
And if you go into it with that mindset, cool. I hope people are not disappointed. I don't know. I'm very neutral on it.
Okay.
What about you?
I was just curious. Kind of the same. First of all, luxury smartwatches are stupid expensive. Yeah, so I would not want to
spend... It's kind of a flex more than anything else.
I think so. I wouldn't want to spend that much money on something that I know the technology is going to be done for in a few years. Same.
All right. Did we answer that other question?
Ish.
Kind of. Well, what do you think?
I said luxury smartwatches.
Oh, luxury smart. Yeah. I didn't really. Yeah,
I feel like there's a big demand for it. I think that as far as watchmaking, or
maybe bringing tourbillons to a more affordable level. I think we're starting to see that. We're starting to see more of them in like sport watches and things like that. So maybe they become a little bit more popular, and I don't know. Maybe we can.
But I feel like the whole idea of a tourbillon is just for flex anyway.
Be way out there.
Yeah, because the tourbillon is realistically the most useless complication of anything. I mean, if we're talking about a big step in watchmaking, this is not really, well, I mean, I guess it is watchmaking, but like a big step is bringing those sizes down, where we're seeing the unisex and things like that. Like that's a major step where we're getting rid of the two genders that we always see. And, guys can buy things that are, diamond covered and they're a 36 or a 38 or even a 40 and it's for everyone, not just for one specific gender. And we're starting to see that quite a bit. I like that we're starting to see that a little bit more. I feel like since we started this podcast, we definitely see more and more
for sure
of it in the last year. So that's amazing.
And now for a word from our sponsor and friends at Topper Jewelers. The jeweler known for their obsession over watches, details, and customer service is now partnering with the brand known for obsessing over creating quality and beautiful timepieces. Topper Jewelers is thrilled to announce that they are now an authorized Breitling retailer. Along with almost 20 other brands that Topper Jewelers carries, you will now be able to find the latest and greatest releases from the brand that has pushed innovation in design and heritage as of late. Topper Jewelers will carry both the classic Breitling models that we have loved over the years, as well as the newest offerings from the brand that has had a truly phenomenal year when it comes to new releases. Launching many exciting models such as the new Endurance Pro, the redesigned 2020 Chronomat on the super cool and retro bullet style bracelet, as well as the long-awaited Super Ocean 57 reissue that's been a huge hit in the watch sphere. Head over to the Topper Jewelers website and check out their extensive selection of Breitling timepieces. That's TOPPER jewelers.com. All right, so next question from Adam Scalagini. Lange or Patek?
How do you choose?
I know.
You know what? Actually, I do have a choice.
Yeah.
It's Lange.
Yeah, I think so too.
Their movements, I mean, Patek movements are beautiful. First of all, never going to own either.
Can't go wrong with either.
Let's just be real. Can't go wrong with either. Yeah, exactly. But Lange movements are, I mean, just absolutely insane. Yeah. Like the beauty behind them is stunning. And Patek's movements are really great as well. I also like a little Lange. I think they stick with what they do and they do it really well versus Patek tries to be sporty. They try to be dressy. You know, that I feel like for a luxury brand, especially at their tier, they kind of stretch themselves to a little bit of everything. Yeah. Versus Lange, this is what we have, you know. Now, given they did also do the Odysseus, which I've talked hella crap about, and I want to apologize. They tried to step out, you know, come back in, but yeah, I feel like Lange definitely. What about for you?
For me, I think same Lange. And its movements aside, I think for me it's just the lines that they have and the models that I am attracted to a little bit more. I do like Patek a lot, but I think if I'm looking at a catalog, I'm liking a lot more Langes than I am Pateks. Just kind of comes down to aesthetics for me.
Yeah. Fair.
Cool.
All right. So from Watch, Ski, Cook, Hike, favorite dress watches. And then he has a second part as far as gold sports watches versus a true dress watch.
Yeah.
So first of all, let's start with favorite dress watch. Because neither of us are big dress watch people.
No, and see, that's the thing when he talks about these gold sports watches. That's basically what I want to go to when I say a dress watch. I think for favorite dress watches, I would go Grand Seiko. I think they're just so elegant to me, and I'm so attracted to many of their models more than the Langes, more than the Vacherons, and I just, or even JLC or anything like that. Or Moser too. Man, that's a really tough one.
Well, I think the thing with Grand Seiko is you get, like, even in their dress watch line, I can't remember. I think, is it the Elegance? It kind of, but it's the one that has like the small seconds and the power reserve indicator.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't like those.
It is the Elegance collection. Look at me. All right, freaking genius over here. Not really. The little things. So like even those, they have a sportier look as a dress watch. And I feel like that's basically what our style is going to come down to.
What about you? Is there any like favorite dress watches you can think of from any specific brands?
Because I would want a sporty watch as a dress watch. So like even the second part of this question, a gold sports watch versus like a true dress watch. I'm going to go for like a gold or dressier sports watch because I just like that. Dress watches just tend to be so thin. And now that being said, we have a dress watch coming in for review. Yeah. That we're super excited
I feel like a lot of people think a dress watch is a watch on a leather strap, more elegant. Yeah. Not on a bracelet. But I think that you can blend the two and you can wear whatever you want. Because that's what I think.
All right. You heard it here. Wear whatever you want.
Yeah. I think a woman could look honestly better with a gold sports watch on in a dress than she would with a watch on a leather strap. I think the bracelet looks better. That's me though. That's what I would wear.
You're a very heavy bracelet person though.
I am to a fault.
it's a fault. I
No,
think
it's a
that
fault because I
No.
miss out on a lot of great watches because I just don't like.
you sold great watches
I
because
know.
of the lack of
I
bracelet.
know. It's a problem. It's a real problem. All right. So next question.
Yeah.
Dive. Ooh, this is hard. Dive watches aside, what utility category is most appealing to you and why? And that is from John_Houghton.
Maybe field.
Field.
Yeah. I'm going to go field.
Yeah.
Oh, but pilot. Man. Why do we have to pick?
And why? Don't forget the why.
Oh, because they're freaking amazing looking. That's why. No, man. I think I'm going to go field. I don't really have a lot of field watches in my collection.
Yeah.
I've had like the Fleegers, and
Yeah.
I do like the cleanliness of them, but I do kind of like something with a little bit more personality, and I feel like you get that in a field watch.
Yeah.
Fleegers tend to look the same. They have a very similar style. I mean, yeah, they all look the same, especially when they don't put their brand on the dial. They really all look the same. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with field watch. What you got?
Man, it's hard because I'm such a fan of divers, and that's like the one thing I like. Chronographs. I'm attracted to so many.
Oh,
but
why
I just
didn't I
can't.
think of chronographs as a category? Damn it!
I just can't. I can't find the right one for me. But I think if I could, then I would be really happy with like a chronograph on a steel bracelet. Yeah, be like.
I find this search for you and a chronograph to be absolutely amazing. Like, I don't know, it's so.
The only thing that's gonna make me happy is the all gold Speedmaster that I'm never gonna have. Like,
it's so intriguing how much you want a chronograph, but just can't find them.
I do. I like them. There's so many.
You've had them.
I've had them, and it's not like I've hated them. It just I'm playing Goldilocks. I can't find the right one. I need it to be on a steel bracelet. I need it to have the
gold bracelet.
Or gold.
To be clear,
set in gold would be great.
Moonshine.
Or it's moonshine gold. It's not set in gold. You're right. Set is the rose, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the rose gold.
Yeah, the moonshine gold. Yeah, one day maybe.
Would that be your exit watch? Let's take it back.
Yeah, that might be.
You would exit with that one?
No, you wouldn't. Good.
Well, you may not buy another watch at that price point, but you can't tell me if you.
But how would I justify?
Money,
I wouldn't be able to justify having anything else because that thing is not sitting in a safe.
No, but that's fine. But even then, are you going to wear it every single day? No.
I'll try.
Are you going to wear it outside if it sprinkles? No.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, yeah.
You told me it was fun to swim in.
I told you it's fun.
You told me it was fine.
Kat's going to be at the Omega Boutique. Water damage.
You said you go in pools with yours.
I do.
I don't know. I'm trusting you.
Okay. All right.
Trusting your word.
You'll see both of us at the Omega Boutique with our Speedmasters just drenched in water. Like,
oh, man. All right. Is the next one the all about crits?
Yeah, that's what I got.
All right. Is it mine or I don't even know now.
I think I asked No, you asked me because I got to answer first.
Oh, yeah.
So now I ask you. Are we doing affordable grail watch?
I don't want to.
All right, let's do wrist shots.
Okay.
All right, so from at Bryson and Watches, wrist shots being cliche, do you get tired of seeing it?
No, because that's why we all have a watch Instagram page. Like I never get tired of seeing watches. It's not a watch on a table or a flat lay or in the grass. It's a watch on a wrist. I just don't see how anyone could get tired. If you're tired of it, then you might as well just get off of Instagram in general. I think it's, and honestly, like I actually like seeing wrist shots. I like seeing the proportions of a watch on someone else's wrist, and I like seeing people wear the watches. And I don't, I like to take flat lays because they're really easy, and taking a wrist shot sometimes.
Oh yeah, they're so
hard.
Easy. Kat, the expert, is
did
like,
I say easy?
Oh, the most complicated photo setup possible. It's so easy, y'all.
No, I didn't mean it that way. To me, wrist shots are actually tough, especially when you're by yourself and you're using something other than just a cell phone. But I mean, it's all kind of silly. Like, and that's I think someone asked later on why we all have like Instagram pages dedicated to watches instead of putting it on your own page. But I didn't want to, I started posting on my personal page, and I remember just like family members probably thinking I was weird as hell for posting a shot. And then I felt like I was kind of bragging, and I just like, when you're in the watch world, you just don't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't think I'll ever get tired of it. What about you? Yes.
I like the more creative shots. I'm not gonna lie. Now, I don't mind.
Is he talking
seeing
about
wrist
just
shots.
like?
I think wrist shots, and I don't know.
Because all your shots are wrist shots, then technically, because like they're lifestyle, but it's not. That's not considered a wrist shot. I didn't think about that.
I think that like when I read this question, I feel like I'm imagining just holding your phone
right in
over
front of
your wrist, taking a wrist shot.
Yeah.
And I love seeing them for the same reasons. I like because I feel like you have a better idea about proportions and things like that. But I do like to see like a little bit more fun. And I mean, at the end of the day, do what you want to do. And I'm going to like it anyways, no matter what. I kind of almost envy people who there's some really cool accounts. And if I was, a better person, I would have done my homework and made notes and included them here. But there's some really cool accounts who only do like wrist shots. And like, it's the same exact,
very symmetrical.
And like their whole page and their whole layout is just so clean, and mine's just like there's crap everywhere, like whatever. And I kind of envy that to an extent. I don't get tired of seeing wrist shots. I won't say I get tired of them. I try and just do something different because I feel like the wrist shot is just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to say boring because it's not that it's boring. There are some wrist shots that look phenomenal and detailed and everything else. But I'd just like to do something a little bit more
creative.
Different.
I'm the same
I guess
way.
creative is a good way to put it.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay, my turn. Maximize phone quality.
I don't mind that. Like, we can do that. That's pretty.
Yeah, I guess we've talked about it, but we can go over it again. All right. So from Ukulele, he asked, "What can I do to maximize the photo quality with a smartphone?"
And this is something we have talked about.
Mm-hmm.
We recently got cameras within the last year and a half or so. And before that, like all of our shots were on smartphones, and you can get some really phenomenal pictures with a smartphone. First of all, I would say the biggest thing is lighting is everything. Like what kind of light situation you're in, not having these harsh, bright overlight, lights that look like if you're in a watch boutique, they all have those lights, and you get the
car lighting is always the best.
Car lighting is legit, man. It's so good
on a sunny day.
Yeah, just the lighting and the angle that you use. As far as like maximizing your smartphone quality, like on iPhones, if you hold like the screen, I don't know how it is on an Android, so I apologize. But if you tap and hold the screen over where your wrist is or where your picture is, your watch, it'll focus on that. And then that's what, also at that point, you can increase the brightness by sliding your finger up and down. A lot of people don't know that. It's called AFAE lock or AEAF.
Autofocus,
Something like that. But yeah, I mean, little things like that definitely will help out. Yeah,
I think those things, also using the timer. I know that was one thing that Josh, our friend Stefan Watches, talked about. If you're kind of holding your phone and you're taking a wrist shot, hold the phone against your chest so your arm's not moving. It's a little bit more stabilized, and then set that timer so you're not, because when you hit that shutter button on your phone, you tend to shake the phone a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can hit the timer and then just literally hold it for 3 to 5 seconds, let it take its shot, and it's a lot more still and it's a lot less blurry. So
that being said, we're all for some cell phone wrist shots. Our new Saturday wrist shots are now going to be on cell phones.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to not have like the pressure of like Saturday morning before I leave work.
I think we just, there's a lot of people that would reach out, and there is somewhat of a pressure on Instagram because there's so many great photographers to always, to buy cameras, and you don't need anything. Like you can actually take a really good wrist shot. I'm excited to actually challenge myself in a new way that I haven't really done in a while. So I'm excited to, get the phone out and try to be creative and try to take a good shot, because honestly, it's gotten harder as we've learned to use our cameras. Going back to the phone is actually very difficult now.
It really is.
So it's a new way to challenge ourselves, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
You can take amazing photos with your phone.
For sure. All right. Jeez. Same person. Okay. So from @Chin_Alexander, this is what you were just talking about. How do you deal with people thinking you're into watches to flex, especially posting on Instagram?
Well, I think the first advice I would give was create a Instagram account for just watches,
Mhm.
especially if you have family members and coworkers and people that may judge you for the way you choose to spend your money. I think having a separate Instagram account may help. You don't have to by any means, but if you feel like you're being judged, then maybe create an account where you only look at watches. It's what I had to do. I think it's a weird thing for other people to understand. And I kind of look at it the same way. I'll see people posting pictures about cars, and I think they're flexing. And I know that that's not the case. They're just in a different hobby than I am.
Mhm.
So I can be judgmental at times, just in a different way. Yeah, I think that would be my advice. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a little bit different. Like, I just have the one account that was mostly personal,
But
and
you
now
also
it's
work
mostly
in
watches.
the
But I
industry.
work in the industry, exactly. So, like, and
Your
people, my
coworkers.
friends, kind of know, or if not, they've figured it out by now. Coworkers, and then I still post like selfies sometimes and pictures, like of my kid or whatever else on there. So I have it a little bit easier, honestly, but same recommendation. Like, if you don't feel comfortable posting on Instagram your watches, but you do want to do that, then do it on a separate page. I think that drawing attention to your watches makes it sound like we're kind of obsessed with our watches. And there's nothing wrong with that to other people who are equally obsessed with watches. And I am the same way. Like when my friends, like, when they are like, oh, look at my new bag, or look at, my new ring or shoes, or, whatever, I'm just like kind of eye rolling, like, oh, whatever. Like, and that's the same way people feel about watches.
Yeah.
And I get it. So I try not to be too like if I'm out with, friends, whatever, and whatever, I'm not like talking about my watches. I don't want people to think that I'm just trying to draw attention to that. But yeah, post it, do an Instagram just for watches so that you can just have fun. And then you can post whatever you want.
You're not judged.
And nobody's going to judge you. Yeah, exactly.
It's a very weird thing that we do, but it makes us happy, and you should do it if you want to do it.
Yeah, but it genuinely, though, it's not so weird in the sense that everybody has something that they spend stupid money on for no reason, right? Like it's home decor, it's shoes, it's watches, it's cars, it's,
Cameras,
gambling or whatever, like that none of us really understand. But in your niche, you get it. So find your people, and your people aren't going to judge you.
Exactly.
That's what I got.
So from 120 clicks, thoughts on watch winders, yay, nay, or indifferent?
Okay.
Oh, what?
So
what?
I don't know. Sorry, I feel like I made it sound like I have a much bigger. I guess I do have thoughts on this.
Okay.
Like you're always going to hear people argue one way or the other about it.
That hurts the movement.
Yeah, and there's no right or wrong answer. In all honesty, I like the idea of a watch winder because I like the idea of like
picking
up my watch and it's still running and set. But the reality is, I do see the argument of damage to the movement long term, because the reality is your watch is having to run all day, every single day, which means that it is running through those lubricants at a faster rate. Now, given when watch brands, say service interval, that service interval is with the assumption that this is with the watch that's worn all the time.
Every day.
So if you have a Rolex that has a 5-year service interval and you put it on a watch winder, it's not going to affect that service interval.
Yeah.
But for me, there's also another balance, because you can't have a watch that just sits there for months and months and months on end either, because those oils are going to get stiff. They're going to kind of dry up a little bit and harden. They do need to move. So
depends on the wearer then.
Yeah, I feel like it depends on the wearer. I feel like, if you're just sticking watches in storage, whatever, then maybe that's something you should consider. But I guess you probably don't care about the service cost either if you're sticking it in storage. That
baller.
watch winders are so expensive.
I was going to ask. I don't.
God.
They're not affordable.
No,
Really?
I mean, you can find like affordable ones, but watch winders are one of those things about quality. Like, if you spend $100 on a watch winder, it's going to rattle your watch all to hell. So I think it's something you do have to spend some good money on. Some other things with watch winders is some watches don't you have to know how your watch winds. Like if the rotor goes both ways and will wind your watch both ways, then you can have a bidirectional watch winder. But a lot of watch winder or a lot of watches, the rotor will only actually wind the watch in one direction. So you have to make sure your watch winder is set up for that. There's also a maximum number of rotations per day that you have to have your watch winder set up for. There's a lot that goes into it. And then the idea is basically when you put a watch on a watch winder is that it holds whatever power your watch has on it. So taking a dead watch and putting it on a watch winder, or, taking a watch, winding it 3 times, putting it on a watch winder, when you take it off that watch winder, don't expect it to be fully wound. It's still going to be about the same. So yeah, I have no answer basically.
There's so many different answers, and you covered a lot of them. Just it depends on so many different factors. I'm very indifferent to them. I don't not like them. I don't like them. I don't feel like I need one because I wear all of my watches in a rotation. I don't have a huge collection. I think if you only had like 1 or 2, then why do you need a winder? You're probably wearing those 2 watches.
I don't have a problem just setting my watch every day either.
Well, and that's the thing. A lot of people, the reason they like watches, they like the mechanical feel. They like feeling connected to their watch in some way, and that's very important. Winding their watch and shaking it or whatever they're going to do, that's a factor of wearing a wristwatch and not wearing a digital watch. So you take that away too with a watch winder. But I've not spoken to an actual watchmaker on their thoughts. I know a lot of different people, different watchmakers even vary on their thoughts on a winder, but research, ask your watchmakers, ask your ADs and your brands and see what they say. I think it depends on how you wear your watch. That's more important than the even watch itself. I think it's just your wear on it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it my turn? Your turn. Your turn.
Is it?
Yeah, I asked that one.
We're so awkward.
One of these days we'll get it.
We should have like a little, like a spinner or something like that. Like, or the people who throw the balls, like little medicine ball or like the stress balls.
Just like pass it.
Yeah.
Whoever has.
If you have the ball, it's your turn. Don't. No. All right. So I think this is going to be our last question for today.
Yeah.
So this is from 120 clicks also.
Yeah.
How important is lume to you, and is it important enough to influence a purchase decision?
It's super important, and it will very much influence my decision on a watch. I love lume. Like, it's one of my favorite things about a watch. Do I have any watches that don't have lume? No, I don't think I do. Yeah. See, the Grand Seiko I had, the GMT, it didn't have lume, but the hands and indices were so reflective that you could see it at night. But yeah, I freaking love lume. And if it's not strong, if it's really weak, I will not buy the watch. Like, I just won't, because it's that important to me.
Yeah.
Do I need it? No, I don't. Do I want it? Yes, I do. What about you?
I don't think it's enough to keep me from buying a watch. It'll sell me a watch for sure. Like any watch salesperson, if you ever listen to this and I deal with you, just like show me the lume. And I'll just be like, oh my God, take my money now. I love lume. I do. I love brands that use multicolor lume. I love brands that do lume right. I do like a bright, good lume. If a watch doesn't have lume and I buy it, like it's not the end all be all. I'm not going to sell it just because of the lume or anything like that. I mean, it's important. It definitely affects it, but it affects it in a positive way.
Yeah.
There's one variant of one, like I really want a Ploprov very badly, an Omega Ploprov. And I want one specific model just because of the lume.
Yeah.
So
because it's white or anything like that.
No, I want the previous generation. So the generations now are in titanium, very practical, lightweight, easy to wear, no problem. As practical as like a $12,000 dive watch could be. That is like a brick. It looks like a brick on the wrist.
Like a brick.
But it wears incredible.
Super light.
It's like a foam brick. But so the previous generation was in stainless steel and they are so heavy. And
I like heavy.
But they are heavy. And I also don't want it on the rubber strap. I want it on the mesh bracelet, which is extra heavy. But the white dial and white bezel, because the entire bezel lights up. and it is so
Loomed
baller.
bezels
And
are the shiz.
Why don't more brands do this?
I know.
Like lume bezels, like make lume bezels a thing.
My Manta, my blue not my Atlas, my blue Ocean King. The bezel is loomed, and I freaking when I come inside after like walking outside, it just like it puts a smile on my face. Like it does. Like I end up being like a kid.
Can we just say in general, lume does that? Like
yeah, it turns you into a kid.
Yeah, I love it. I check my watch every time I come from outside to inside, and I'm just like
yeah, it's lit up. It's magic.
Yeah, I'm like a child who has like light up sneakers. Like I think to my niece who has like light up sneakers, and like every time I see her, she's like stomping around, and
that's so cute.
And that's what I am. Like when I get a
watch,
are
light up sneakers still a thing?
Yes, they are still a thing for small children. So, you know, I don't know adults that have them, but small kids do, and it makes my heart happy.
Yeah.
But even when I get a new watch in, like I always like want to take it to the bathroom and like where it's just totally dark, like a weirdo. I'm like, hey, come to the bathroom with me. Like, I do it at work. Like when we receive certain watches in at work, I'm like, oh, I want to see the loop, so let me go to the darkest place, which is the bathroom. So, very weird.
Well, it's true. Like we get in watches for review, and that's usually the first thing I'll do is like I'll shine black light on it just to see how the lume is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes me happy. It really does. Like it just makes me smile. It's fun. All right, guys. Well, I think that wraps us up for today.
Damn, done. I love these.
These are fun. Yeah.
So we really, and I think we've been doing so good. We've had once a month for like several months in a row.
We've been trying to be good.
We're trying so hard to be good.
And you guys are asking some really awesome questions.
Yeah, for sure. So,
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just keep an eye out on our Instagram because somewhere around the middle, towards the end of the month, you know, we always post a story asking for questions. It can be watch related. It doesn't have to be watch related. Just, you know, stuff that we can chat about if you want to ask us something. And then we'll definitely get to it on the show eventually if we have the time. But thank you guys again for all of your support. We greatly appreciate it. Be sure to head to our website, www.tennand2.com for all the notes. We'll put some links and some photos to some of the specific stuff we talked about today. As well, be sure you're following us on social media at Tenn and 2 Media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And that is all, y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.